Hey guys, welcome back to our James Coffee YouTube channel. My name's Gia. You might remember me from our pour over tutorial video. I'm here with Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah and I manage our roasting, production, and help pick out green coffees for our shops.
Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video so you can see what we put out next.
Today we're going to be tasting one of our single origin offerings at James Coffee. It's going to be our Honduras El Canal. This coffee comes from a 1.4 hectare farm located in the Santa Barbara region of Honduras. We've been working with the farmer, Glennis Izaguirre, for 8 years now.
Today we made this coffee on batch brew at a 15-to-1 ratio. Let's get into it. Cheers.
So normally when tasting coffee, we actually want it to cool down. Coffee's brewed at about 200 degrees, so the coffee we're drinking right now is 200 degrees. We're gonna wait until it's about 160, 165 till it's palatable and we can actually start to taste some tasting notes here. So Gia, what do you feel like you taste in this coffee?
I really like it. I feel like I'm definitely getting chocolate for sure, a little bit of some kind of fruitiness, but nothing super acidic or bright.
I definitely get some really like caramely sweetness, some smoothness there, a little bit of like acidity there like you said, maybe like apricot, like a stone fruit type sweetness.
So what makes this coffee special?
This coffee is special because it's our direct trade coffee. By getting coffee through direct trade and not through an importer, it allows us to give more money to the farmer directly instead of giving a little bit more money to the importer-exporter. With direct trade, we have a closer relationship with the farmer, which allows us to talk to the farmer, learn a little bit more about his processes, have a little bit of input on them, and then we're also able to see the coffee just get better year to year.
So I know this coffee is a washed coffee. Let's expand a little bit more on what that means for the tasting notes and also just what that process is.
So when we talk about washed coffee, we're actually talking about the process the coffee went through to go from being a cherry to being a dried seed that we're then going to roast and make into coffee that you drink. Washed refers to how the cherry is treated. So when the coffee is picked from the tree, you're left with this cherry, and that cherry is actually going to go through something called a pulper. That pulp takes away the fruit of the cherry. Then that seed that's still covered in like sticky mucilage from the cherry fruit sits in a tank of water which ferments. That fermentation serves the purpose of eating away the rest of that fruit on that cherry. That process gives us a really clean, crisp cup of coffee in the end. It basically allows us to taste the true like flavors in that coffee itself without any real manipulation on what it would taste like. There's a few other ends of the spectrum when it comes to processing. There's what's called the natural or dry process. That's kind of polar opposite in terms of processing to the wash process, and in that scenario the cherry is picked from the tree and the cherry is allowed to shrivel up around the seeds, or beans as we call them, and in that process we get a really strong fruit forward fermentation and you would get more like fruity, like winey, fruit punchy notes even, berry notes maybe. That's more common in African countries where this is a Central American coffee. If you want to learn more about coffee processing, make sure that you click subscribe and follow along because we will be doing coffee processing videos in the future where we go a bit more into depth about how those processes affect the coffee that you're tasting. Over the years, Honduras has become a little bit of a playground for specialty coffee. A lot of the local farmers have turned more and more to direct trade relationships, making it so that when you go down to certain regions of Honduras, you're gonna see like Verve has a farm. You're gonna see all these different little coffee roasters have all these little farms like right next to each other, around from each other, and you can literally like go around and point out like, oh, that's so-and-so's like coffee that they use direct trade. And so it's been a place that's been really open to developing these relationships, which in the end really develops some really good coffees. In working with Honduras, it's been really cool to see the farm grow and expand. When we first started, we were getting a couple bags of it, and now we get 20 to 30 bags every year of coffee from Glennis. Each year, he's able to make upgrades to his farm, whether it's in how he dries the coffee or how he's growing the coffee or do things like that. It's kind of a cool thing to be able to see everything growing and getting better and expanding. When we have this coffee, so all coffee is seasonal. We actually just got this Honduras back in season now, so this is this year's crop, or technically it was harvested late 2020, but we've got it now, and so usually takes a few months for coffee to get here. When we have the coffee in stock, we do actually use a bit of this Honduras in our shop blend. We get 2 varietals of plants from Honduras from this particular farm. When I say varietal, just a quick and dirty explanation of it, you can think about it like you think of apples. So if you have a red apple or green apples, they're all apples, but they taste a little bit different. They have a little bit of different textures or colors. It's totally the same with coffee. So this year from Honduras, we got the Pacas varietal and the Bourbon. We're using the Bourbon in the blend, and our single origin that we're featuring is the Pacas varietal. It's just a little bit nicer. It's a little bit juicier, a little bit sweeter. So we like to highlight it.
One of the things I really like about this Honduras is that if you're used to like a full-bodied blend and you want to branch out a little bit and try a new single origin, but you're not ready to go all the way to super fruity acidity like a natural Ethiopia, this is going to be a good in-between to give a try and sort of branch out a little bit but still feel that full-bodied chocolatey stuff that you're used to. If you're interested in getting your hands on this coffee, it just hit the shelves in all 3 of our shops in San Diego, and it's also on our website. Check it out, jamescoffeeco.com, and you can find more information about the coffee, and you can order it for delivery, for pickup, or swing by any of our shops to try it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and leave us a comment down below for what coffee you want us to talk about next.
Is going to be, what did I?
My second bag.
Okay.
Yeah. Today we used a batch brewer for this Honduras at a 15-to-1 ratio, so that's what we're gonna get to taste.
You win, just win. Stop it! We have to go. If you want. And how that affects the coffee that you're drinking. Stop laughing. Why are you laughing? Did you just ruin that cut? Yeah.